All right. Well, I think I'm gonna kick things off here and get started. So for those of you that this is your first time joining the Friday session, this is our technology-focused military trailblazer office hours. So we've been running this call for about 3 years now, and the main point of this is that as folks are learning Salesforce, going through their Salesforce journey, we wanted to make sure that they had a forum where if they have questions, they're stuck on something on Trailhead, they have an issue at work they can't figure out, whatever it is. It's a live forum for them to bring those questions here so that we can try to help them out and see if we can, solve their problem. So with that, what I'm going to do is we'll open it up. And does anybody have any questions or topics that they would like to go through for today? I see a hand up. Priscilla, you got a question?
Yes, I do. Intelligent document automations are giving me a hard time. So I came for that, and Omni scripts. So
Okay, now intelligent document automation. This is not something that I'm familiar with. Is anybody else on the call familiar with that? So Priscilla, maybe you could just tell us very quickly, what is intelligent document automation?
Okay, this is good. This is good. This is practice to me by speaking about it. It's practice. So it's a great way to, it's one of our features that we use to take physical documents and use an Amazon text tract, extract the information from the physical documents and upload it into Salesforce.
Yeah.
Health Cloud, I believe, uses it a lot. I'm currently, well, hold on. Health Cloud, I think, uses a lot because the intelligence document automation module on Trailhead is regarding healthcare. And then you read Salesforce Help, it's regarding healthcare with it.
Yeah.
It's healthcare. However, I'm learning it more because I'm studying for the public sector solutions, AP credentials. And it's one of the things we need to know. And I'm struggling with that one. And it uses some intelligent form readers. So I understand what it is. I'm just struggling to see it in action.
Yeah.
So, but that was my thing. And OmniScript, it's like a flow.
So here's what I would say. I'll open it one last time. Is anybody familiar with this, or think that they can kind of speak to this? Because if not, what I think that we can do, I am currently working out the schedule for the next couple of months as far as speakers and ISP partners and other folks that are going to be coming in and presenting various topics. So that is one that I've never heard of before. It's interesting, and I will see if we can maybe try to find somebody that's maybe an expert that can give a quick demo about what it is, how it works, how it's used, just so that we can all learn that. So
my suspicion is it's some kind of search ability to organize and index documents. That's a standard process in data science where you do search for the number of documents, the terms in the documents, and you line all that up within a good search mechanism. And within healthcare, it probably makes sense to do that. But I don't know. I'm just conjecturing because that's a sort of a standard natural language processing ability within data science. So
there is some mapping going on with it too. So it does extract it and does the mapping.
Yeah. So you can do phrases and, like there's a difference in searching for white and house versus White House and this type of things. But,
yeah, not really sure. Yeah. So I'll see if I can try to find somebody that might be an expert on this. And Priscilla, is kind of a standard here when somebody asks a question that we have no idea how to answer. If you do learn this functionality and you get a better grasp of it, and it's something that you'd be willing to come back and present, we would love to have you kind of come back and give an update just so that we can all learn a little bit of, about it.
No problem. Yes. It comforts me knowing that it's not just stumping me.
Yeah. Well, here's something I say this often on these calls. There was a day and time back in the day where you could know Salesforce, right? You can know everything there is to know about Salesforce. But today that is not the case, right? There's just so many different clouds, so many different aspects of it. And some things that honestly, you might go your entire Salesforce career, retire, and you have never touched those things, right? I feel like intelligent document automation might be one of those things for me. So But yeah, I would love to learn more about it, get some exposure. So I'll try to do some digging, and if you feel comfortable, you can kind of come back and give us an update. So, all right, cool. Well, thank you for the question. So let's open it back up. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that they would like to go through? Hopefully one that we can answer. I see hand up, Raphael.
Yeah. So I am currently working on the app customization specialist, and once I fix one issue, then the next one it's another headache. So right now I'm stuck on I've been stuck for a couple of days on step number 5.
Yeah. Would you do you have a link to that module, or do you have a would you be willing to share your screen, kind of show us the error that you're getting?
I'm gonna have to probably log into my computer. Maybe I'm on my iPad. I don't know how to share that.
And what was the name? What was the name of it? That the module you're doing?
It's the app customization specialist. It's the last.
I don't think you need it. They don't use it, do they?
The last super badge to complete the military trailhead, and that way I can take the what is it? The test.
Yeah. Right. Let me see if I can pull up that super badge. I just have to go through the.
But I can log in on my computer and share it real quick. Let me find the link.
Oh, thank you, whoever, Jesse. Thank you for posting that. I appreciate that. So, app customization specialist. All right. So let me take a look. Let me share my screen, and let's just take scroll all the way to the bottom here and just see. Oh, I guess I can't see the challenges here. Yeah. So if you can log in and share, let's take a look and see what that error message is that you're receiving.
I'm in right now. If you can.
Yep. Just let you.
Yep.
Recording in progress.
Give me a second.
Okay. Like a Raphael inception here. There you are. Okay, we cannot hear you. I see your lips moving, but looks like you're muted. There you go.
So share screen.
Yep. Looking at the chat real quick, I feel like for any question that we just have absolutely no idea, there should be like a prize. But I feel like that would encourage people just to like dig up the hardest question they could possibly think of just to get the prize. So.
Hey, how many times have I come and you couldn't find my answer? So.
All right, well, I'll send you a gift basket that'll with multiple prizes in it.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so challenge not yet completed. Here's what's wrong. The My Top Volunteer Organizations report is not sorting by the correct field. All right, so I'll tell you what. Super badges, we try to be very careful in that we don't want to just give you the answer and solve it for you. But with this error in mind, would you be able to just open up your challenge org and just show us that report, just so we can kind of take a look at it? And while you're doing that, let me look at that was the My Top Volunteers something or other. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
My Top Volunteer Organizations. Is that the name of the report?
I'm sorry. It reset, but yes, My Top Volunteer Organization.
Okay. And they want us to sort rows by value ascending. All right. So let's take a look at that report and just see if we might be able to nudge you in the right direction.
Let me launch this. So right now, what I'm doing is I go to, on the reports.
Yep.
And then go here.
Yep.
So I don't have any data in there, but the report is hopefully created correctly.
Yeah, let's take a look at the report here. So, okay, so I think I see your issue.
Oh my goodness, already.
Look at your report. And if I'm looking at the requirements on the super badge, it needs to have a donut chart. That's part of it. And then it has sort rows by value ascending. Now, it looks like yours is being sorted by volunteer organization, and it looks like that's
Because it
Yeah,
says I have to group it, right? Let me see.
Well, if you actually go back up under the part where it talks about my top volunteer organization, it does specifically say,
Right here?
yep, it's in there.
Yeah.
You're supposed to sort it.
So I had to group it
Mhm.
by the volunteer organization, and I believe that's this.
Yep. But go
Um,
back. Go back and right after that.
Right. I have to
Sort
sort it
high to low
from
by
high to
hours.
low. So by the shift hour. So you can't. It's this right here. It says from. So it should be like that, I guess, from high to low.
Yeah,
What
just
I
just
did-
real quick, if you can here. Oh yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
try that by some of the shift hours. And I think that's probably what your issue is.
Man, I swear I did that, but okay, let's see. So
Make sure you save that.
Didn't it also say no other columns?
it did, yes.
Okay.
I figure I need this here because only it says the report should include shift until shut up, and it should display records. I know I read something about status here.
So I'm guessing if you sort it by the hours there,
Let me see. Let
at a
me-
minimum, when you're going through these things, if you did you save that? I didn't notice
Yes,
you.
I did.
Yeah. So worst case scenario is you save it, try to validate again, and then it gives you a different error message, which a different error message is progress in and of itself. So
Right, 100%. I get like 26 of them. It's still.
Nope, it's different.
it's a
No,
different
it
message
changed
now.
it. It said correct direction because you did the sorting, but you
Oh,
have to confirm your direction.
okay.
Now you just sorted by volunteer organization again. I think you have to go back into that menu that you had where it was sort by. Okay, sum shift hours. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Again, worst case you can do is give it a whirl and see what happens here.
I think there was an
Um,
option there though to sort it descending. Isn't that what we want is descending?
It's it.
Nope.
You
Again,
got
that's a
it. You
different
move
message
forward.
now. Yeah. So I think you're trending in the right direction here.
I'm bouncing around. Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep at it.
at least that particular part is solved.
Filter.
So this is a different report now, it looks like. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Raphael, I think you're on the right track here.
Okay.
What was the report that was pulling up now saying that it was an issue?
Filter.
The shift pending approval. It's actually the second report.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a different report. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
like you're
you-
good to go on that current
All
report.
right.
So
So I'll move on to. I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
I know I was clicking because you notice I went straight here. I know it was somewhere here, and I thought I clicked this, but maybe I didn't save.
Yeah. Now, what I will say is that from a UI perspective, I think that's kind of lame. And I think it's something that Salesforce should address because to me, when I sort by shift hours, I would expect to see that little arrow showing on the shift hours column, not on the volunteer organization column. That seems
Yeah.
very unintuitive to me, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't,
Thank you.
I'm not $1 billion platform. So who am I, right?
Thank you very
Cool.
much.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to take over sharing and we will open it back up. So awesome. You do not get a gift basket, Raphael, because we solved your problem. Cool. Well, let's open it back up to questions. I think I see another hand up. Do you have a question? It looks like, how do you pronounce your name again? I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, Amrutesh.
Amritesh. Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
Yes, actually, currently I'm learning Lightning Web Components in Trailhead. and I want to target the super batch, LWC super batch, but I'm trying to find the study partners for targeting that super batch so that we can discuss and do some brainstorming on the requirement and develop the app. But I tried posting the requirement in various Trailblazer community groups, also in LinkedIn group. I have been trying since 4 days but I didn't get any study partner. So what should I do now?
Yeah, I don't know if that's well, I guess we can open it up. Is anybody interested in being a study partner for Lightning Web Components? All right, hearing none. So I honestly don't know what I would suggest as a next step for that. I guess folks like to, kind of study. I don't know. I mean, some folks do really well is kind of doing it in a group. Some folks, prefer to do it as an individual. So does anybody have any thoughts on where someone might go to try to get a study partner for a particular super badge or topic like Lightning Web Components? Yeah, I mean, besides posting in the community and potentially on the developer, have you tried the developer forums by chance? Like the developer
forums,
community?
I don't know about
Yeah,
it.
let me take a look. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you and at least maybe point you in that direction. Let's see, feed.
I'd be interested in learning it, so I can sit in.
Yeah, sure, Gerald. We can discuss it and target the super batch.
Okay. If you guys want to connect offline or just through the chat here privately, share information, that's great. And I guess the other thing I would point out too is if as you're going through that super badge, if you have any questions or you need help with anything on Lightning Web Components, definitely bring it to this forum. That is actually one topic I can help out with and answer any kind of questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry. Well, I guess we did make a connection, so no gift basket for you either. So, all right. All right, we'll open it back up. Any other questions or topics that anyone would like to go through?
I'd like a chance another gift basket.
Yes, let's go for it, Sandy. What do you got?
Does anybody have any experience with the unofficial SF record detail component? Supposed to allow you to, or something similar, where it allows you to edit a related record within the original record.
Edit a related record within the original record. So in other words, like if I'm looking at an opportunity, it would allow you to edit like the parent account, something like that. I thought that was a native piece of functionality that's available now.
Is there?
I don't know.
I
So
don't really
let's explore this topic. Let me pull up my org and let's just see if we can take a look at this.
I would agree with you, Bill. I think you can do that in a Lightning page now.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah.
So let's launch our VetForce testing org here. And let's take a look here. So if I go to the opportunity page, let me grab one of my sample opportunities here. And if we go up to edit page, there should be a little salmon colored related records component that I think this might be what we're looking for. So for example, if I drag this in here and I click on this, it'll say, let's see, lookup field, use this opportunity, or I think you can change this to account name. And you can even go further if you want to go like the account and then some other kind of parent record. But if I select account and then click done, create action. Okay, so I guess we would need to have an update action to pull that through. Or I guess the other option would be, I don't know if this is a thing. Let's, if I pull in the record detail. Okay, so you can't do it through there. Am I missing it before I go creating a lightning action? Am I missing the specific thing that we need here?
No, you need a lightning action because
Okay.
whenever you do something, it's gonna send the action to the record to take care of it.
Yeah, so let's do this here. So if we go back into normal Salesforce here, let's go to setup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to account manager. I'm going to go to account and I'm going to go to buttons, links, and actions. And I'm going to create a new action here. And let's just call this, something obvious like opportunity account details or something like that, assuming that it renders at some point here. All right, there we go. All right, so let's just say this is a updated record. We'll call this op account details, like that. And I'll save that. Now, on here, you can specify any fields you want. You don't even need to have the required fields if you don't want to include the account name. I don't know why you would do that, but you don't have to include those. But just for now, let's just keep those kind of default fields here. And I'll click save. So now that we have that, let's go back to our opportunity. And if we go back to the opportunity object, go to our lightning record pages and edit this guy, we should now have the ability to use that related records functionality, and then select the account and then use that new account action that we just created. So I'm going to grab this guy and pull it over. We're going to select edit the lookup. We'll use account name. Done. And then you can see update action is up account details. And now if I save this, it's probably going to ask me to activate. Oh, no, I guess not. All right, cool. So if I go back to my opportunity and refresh, in theory, caching aside, we should now see that account details. And of course, if we wanted to edit anything on here, we can just click edit and make any changes that we want.
Okay, that's awesome. Because yeah, I don't like the unofficial SF component. It is either in view mode or edit mode. So while it's in edit mode, it's got all the like the little boxes around it. And even after you save it, it still stays that way. So you can constantly edit it. So it doesn't look very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just generally speaking, that's something to keep in mind when it comes to Salesforce, just in general, right? You know, if it's 2018 and there's a piece of functionality that's not enabled through the platform, you know, some people might come up with workarounds or some kind of custom functionality to address that use case. But, you know, a couple of years later, Salesforce might realize that that's a big problem. And they release the functionality to support that. And now, you know, you're still going to find those things when you Google it online, but there's a native solution to that. So always something to be aware of when you're looking at solutions, when it was posted and what has changed within the Salesforce platform that might support that. And just as kind of a, you know, quick plug, I just got the notification this morning. The Salesforce Winter 23 release is coming up. And for those that are not aware, every time Salesforce has a release, they put out their release notes that contains all the information about what's coming in that release. Again, there's probably stuff in there that you'll never use, that you don't care about, some cloud that you'll never touch. But what I try to do is whenever those release notes get released, I just skim through it and read through it. And a lot of times you might be like, oh man, that weird, you know, related list functionality that I created and it has a whole bunch of complexity to it. Now they have this new custom dynamic related list that'll replace that, and I can get rid of that old complex thing. So always something to review when the release notes come out. So no gift basket for you, Sandy.
Not this time. I appreciate that.
All right.
Kind of rather have an answer than a gift basket.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're about halfway through. So before we open it back up to questions, I've been doing this in the last couple of calls, so I'm just going to open up a poll real quick. And if you all could be so kind as to just very quickly answer 2 questions for me. We're just trying to get an idea for the folks joining the call. Are they military affiliated, military spouses, just allies, you know, and kind of your experience on the platform, because that'll help us kind of gauge our audience and also, you know, try to gauge the topics that we present if we have a lot of new folks versus a lot of really experienced folks that might, you know, lean us one way or the other. All right. So it looks like everybody's answered. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. There we go. So it looks like as far as our results, looks like 70% are veterans, 15% spouses, 4% active military. That's one individual, and 3 allies here to learn. That's great. And from an experience perspective, it looks like most folks are less than a year. So that's good. That's kind of exactly why we started this call. So glad to see new folks here. And we do have 7% on the call, 2 people that have been doing Salesforce for more than 10 years. That's cool too. All right. Well, thank you all for indulging me there. Let's open it back up to questions then. Anybody else have anything that they would like to go through?
I've got a question.
Sure. What do you got, Megan?
I am working on
the path settings for opportunity stages. And in the key fields section, you can have up to 5 key fields to list. As far as I'm understanding, my first question is there a way to get more than 5? And then secondly, do I even need to have the key fields there if I'm doing a validation rule, preventing them from going to the next stage if those fields aren't filled out?
Yeah, great question. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna share my screen and let's kind of walk through very quickly what path is, how that works, and then we can get to actually answering your question. Because honestly, I have no idea. So we'll log in there and we'll take a look here. So when we talk about the path, correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, but you're talking about kind of this underneath of this, you can actually put like key fields. So for each stage is going to display key fields. So it looks like in this environment, I don't have any set up. So let's go into setup and take a look at path. So from, gear icon, you go to setup. If we go to home and I type in path, we have our path settings. So in this environment, it looks like I have none and it's not even enabled. So I'm going to enable this, make sure that I'm in my dev org and not one of my customer orgs. That's good. Okay, so now that we've enabled it, we're going to click on new path. And for let's create a path for the opportunity object. So we're going to call this opportunity stage path for the object. We will select opportunity. We don't have any record types. And for the pick list, you can actually pick whatever pick list you want. For opportunities, most people are going to lean on the stage pick list. All right, so now you can see that for each of the stages that we have set up in Salesforce, we can actually select fields that we want to show here. And what's really cool is you can even put like a text blurb about what should be happening in that stage, what your best practices are, whatever it is. You can put any kind of information that you like in here. So let's just say that under the prospecting phase, I want to add fields. And I think the answer to your question is going to be no. I don't think that you can get more than 5. But there may be a workaround that we can discuss that might work for you. So in this case, we can drag over, let's just say the account name, the amount, and the close date. That's what we would want to display in the prospecting phase. And let's just say when it goes to qualification, then we want to show delivery installation status, description, and expected revenue, right? So we'll keep it simple there. And then in qualification, we're going to say, this is the guidance that will display for the qualification stage. Okay, just so we can all see what that looks like. All right, so I'll click next. I'll click finish. And there we go. So I think we might have to click the activate button here too. Let's see. So we'll click activate. Now that's active. And now if we go back to our opportunity and give this a refresh, we should see a little drop down here for that path that displays. There we go. So when I expand this now, let's go back to the prospecting phase just so we can see this. But when I'm in prospecting, I can hit the drop down. You can see those key fields here. If I were to go into the qualifications, phase, we can now see these key fields, and then you can see that guidance that we put in there as well. So really great feature. Now, Megan, to answer your question, in this kind of guidance thing, there is limited amount of fields. You can only put 5 fields, right? But one thing that you could do, if you wanted to display a specific subset of fields just based off of the stage, I don't know. Let's see if we can do this. Opportunities might be a problem because it's a standard object, and I don't think you can do dynamic forms on an opportunity yet. But let's see. So if I go to, so I don't think that's going to let us do it. What I was going to say is that we could create a dynamic form that would display whatever number of fields you would want, right? So you put any fields you want there. And then for that section, you could put a visibility filter to say, only display this section or this dynamic form when you're in that stage. Now, if it's on opportunities, we can still do that. It's just we can't do it with dynamic forms. We could do it with actions, just like we did in the previous thing. So in other words, like if I were to go to the object manager and go back to opportunities, I'm going to create an action here. And let's just say that we wanted to create this. We'll do it for update record, and we're going to call this qualification fields. right? So we'll create a new action called op qualification fields. And on this, we can put any number of fields we like. Let's just grab whatever is more than 5 just to show you. So those are all the fields that I would want to include just for the qualification stage. Now, if I go back to my page, I'm going to refresh this. And we can, let's just get rid of this guy for now. What I can do then is I can put this related records thing here. And just like we were able to select, from a different lookup and then select account and select the lightning action for the account, we can do the same thing for an opportunity, right? So you can see here just by dragging this, it grabbed the first one available, which is that op qualification fields. And now for the header, I can say, qualification fields. There we go. And then I can put a filter. So down here under component visibility, I can say add filter, and we can say we only want to display this thing when the stage is equal to qualification. And when I click done, you'll now notice that on that little qualification fields, there's that little eyeball showing that there's a visibility filter in place. So when I click save now, and we go back to our opportunity, what you'll see is that if we're in the prospecting phase, you're not going to be able to see that section, right? It's just showing the detail section there. But as soon as I go to qualification and say mark stage is complete, you can now see that qualification fields pops up there. So it's not ideal in that it would be great if it was part of the path. It's doubly not ideal because we can't just use dynamic forms. We have to use a lightning action, but it could do the job, right? If you want to display just a certain set of fields based on the stage, that would be one way that you could do it on opportunities.
Okay, thank you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say a related question with that though is like, if I did decide to use, if I only had 5 fields that had to be filled out and I put that in the key fields path, but I had a validation rule that included some other stuff. Do you know which one takes precedence?
Well, keep in mind, just because you have key fields there, it doesn't mean that those fields have to be filled in for that stage. So in other words, just by adding it to the key fields doesn't automatically create some kind of rule that says you can't get out of that stage unless you have those fields filled in. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm speculating there. So we can test that here, right? So if I'm in the qualification stage, you can see that description is blank. If I go to needs analysis, mark as complete, no problem, right? Just for the fact that it's a key field, it just puts it front and center so that, if you're telling your users, hey, you probably should fill that in, or maybe at that stage, that's when they would be filling that in, you can put it there. But by adding it to key fields, it doesn't make a requirement that they have to fill that in.
Okay, I think now I know why I got confused because I actually made those fields required. So that's why I got the red pop-up telling me, but I was thinking at the time because I had put it in key fields, but it's all right. That explains it. Thank you.
Yep, no worries. All right, great. All right, cool. Well, let's, I'll tell you what, before we open it back up to questions, there is one thing that I wanted to share with the group, and this is coming out of Dreamforce last week, that it's a feature that I've been waiting for a long time. So I'm going to share my screen in my Salesforce org, and hopefully I've hidden all the private stuff here. But if you remember from last year at Dreamforce, you might have gotten the impression, excuse me, with all the talk about Slack and the digital HQ, you might have gotten the impression that your Salesforce environment was about to become self-aware and Slack was just going to run your business for you and handle everything, right? But really, I mean, they announced a bunch of stuff, but I don't feel like, Slack really came into itself until really this year and some of the announcements that they made this year. So one of the really cool things that I think is pretty amazing is that with the new Slack for Salesforce or Salesforce for Slack app, you have now a lot of stuff you can do with Slack right in your record triggered flows or your screen flows. So for example, if I select record triggered flow, you will notice now, let's just say that we do something on opportunities, or actually, let's pick a custom object, which is even cooler here. So we'll do a detailed note, which is a custom object I have in my org. And let's just say whenever a detailed note is created, we want to do something in Slack. So if I click the plus sign here, you notice that there's this kind of generic action option that's available in your flow. So if I select that, over on the left here now, you'll notice that there's a selection for Slack. And if I click on that and then you click up here in the action, you can now see all the things you can do natively in a flow with Slack without having to create weird Apex classes and all this kind of, headache that you might have had to do in the past. So this includes things like creating channels, archiving channels. You can create messages. You can pin and unpin messages. Really a lot of cool stuff that you can do. You can imagine that the type of workflow that you might create. You create a record, it automatically creates a channel, creates a message where it notifies people. When an opportunity is closed, it might go out, find that channel that's related to that opportunity and automatically archive the channel. All kinds of stuff that you can do now with Slack, just right in your flow builder. So I thought that was pretty cool. The other thing that I haven't had an opportunity to test, but I'm really excited for, is the fact that you can now create screen-based flows and actually have them run right within Slack, which again, that's pretty awesome. That's where you can start to see some of the power of the integration between the two platforms. So I'm really excited for that. Steve, got a hand up.
Yeah. So when you were talking about something that, we were thinking about recently that wanted to share, I found something that I almost fell off my chair when I found out. So a lot of my job depends on me evaluating data within Salesforce to figure out, to troubleshoot that type of thing. And so my standard operating procedure is go to data loader, find the fields that I want, export them out, got them in a CSV file. Very often I'll, open them in Excel. Excel has its own set of issues with bringing in CSV, but I learned the right way to do that, and that's by going in and importing it as not just opening the CSV file, which it will do, it'll open it, but if you've got numeric field or text fields that are numeric, it will screw them up. It'll screw up your date fields. It'll do a number of other things.
Yeah.
But if you open it by opening an external file, data file, then it brings it in. As I was poking around in there, I realized that in Excel, you can actually open Salesforce data directly. Almost had heart failure. That makes a huge difference for me, because all I have to do is, if I want to see what's going on in my accounts, I can open up Excel and say, open external data and find a cloud source, and then it shows Salesforce right there. I can log in from there, and I can see extract data, and using Power Query, I can slice and dice my data 15 ways to Sunday.
Well, Steve, I don't want to call you a liar or anything, but I'm going to open up Excel, and if you can walk me through how to do this, this would be pretty.
Do I get a basket if I can? If I can?
Maybe we'll figure that out. So here, I'm going to share my screen. Let's go. So
I'm the API, is it? It's just a straight import.
All right. So how will we do this? I'm in Excel.
Okay. So go over to look on the top. Go to data.
Yep.
Go on the left side on the ribbon. Go to get data. All the way to the left. There you go.
Yep.
Drop that down. Okay. And okay. Well, wait a minute. First of all, should have made a qualification. You're on Mac, right?
No, I'm on a PC.
Oh, you are on a PC. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you know? What version of you have? The most current version of?
Yeah, Windows 11. I do all my Office updates, Windows updates. I update my virus scanner. I'm pretty good.
Okay.
So when you go to this screen, do you usually see something that's like from Salesforce?
Actually, so can I share?
Yeah, sure. Let me stop.
All right.
Say it sounds too good to be true. I don't know.
I know. Trust me. That was my reaction.
There's a plugin for that, but I don't know if you're running the plugin.
No.
It's called a Salesforce Excel connector.
That's what I used to use, but I didn't think that was a thing anymore. I thought that.
Why did I not find it in to share the? Well,
I'm not gonna say anything, but Comes up with
Yeah,
this
okay,
fantastical
okay.
piece of functionality. Then he wants to share it. Now he can't find the share button.
Yeah, now I can't
No.
find it. So
Definitely
Um,
sounds like your gift basket then.
Well, yeah, I do remember one of the greatest things, and actually one of the things that actually kind of started me on my Salesforce career and kind of got me where I am today was the Salesforce Excel connector. That was a tool way back in the day where you can actually connect directly to Salesforce data and have, if you need to import accounts and contacts related to those accounts, you can do like VLOOKUPs and then insert them, one table at a time. A lot of great stuff, but I haven't seen that recently. All right, so get data, online services from Salesforce objects. Okay, so
or
I don't
Salesforce
have,
reports.
yeah, let me see. So from file data, other sources. Yeah, so I guess I don't have that from online services option. I wonder
What
why.
makes the difference? It's curious.
Is it something you have to enable or like a permission set?
I didn't do anything, so I don't know that,
I mean, I can't imagine, right? Because right now, like in Excel, I'm not even authenticated to Salesforce. So how would it even know if I had a permission or something assigned? I would have to think it's something either a plugin to Excel or
no,
some
well,
kind of,
so I think it's just because Salesforce is big enough that they recognize a lot of people want to do that. So when you come here and say that you want to connect to a Salesforce object, then, yep, it says, all right, so if you want to connect to production, then you think if we click on this, then it'll give me the opportunity to log in to Salesforce. Oh, it's because I've already connected once before. But as you can see here, it's now got all of the Salesforce objects in here. And
okay, that is awesome. Now, I think I figured out why I might not see this. Can you, yeah, exactly, Darren, that's exactly what I just found. So, Steve, if you go up to File, can you go to About Excel? If you see that option, just to get the version that you're looking at. It should be somewhere in here. I don't know where.
yeah,
All Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise right there under subscription product. Now,
okay.
Let me look at mine. So if I go to File, it was under account, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I got the lame version. I got the Microsoft 365 apps for business, so not for enterprise. But for those of you that have for enterprise, that's an awesome feature to be able to pull data directly through online services.
Yeah, I have enterprise. I have the Salesforce connector too, but I can't help feel like Steve just showed me how to build a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
can't
Now,
argue with you there, but I will say that the other thing about this whole process is that I don't think you can actually do too much damage because I think it's only a one-way street. So it's not like you can write data out there.
Oh, that would be good. I'm thinking it's like the old ODBC connectors that were,
yeah,
you can write both ways. So.
like the Excel connector, yeah, where you can push it in and pull it out. But no, that's awesome. That's really cool. So in your just kind of going back to your use case then, Steve. So instead of exporting data into a CSV file, like exporting a report and then bringing it in and opening it directly with Excel, now you can just go get data from online services, select Salesforce, and actually just select the data. And then to your point, you don't have to worry about how it interprets date fields or numeric fields or leading zeros and things like that. It'll just kind of pull the data in directly in the appropriate format. And then from here, you can make any changes you want and then potentially save it as a CSV file and then import those changes back into Salesforce if you need to.
Yes.
Awesome.
And that's exactly what I did yesterday because I had a use case where the client said, here's a CSV file of data from our old system that we need to update in the new system, in our Salesforce system. But we don't, if there's values in these fields, we don't want to overwrite them. And so it was like, okay, because that means the update process won't work because there's no way I can tell that I'm aware of that I can tell the update, don't update if there's a value in there or if the value is blank. But Yeah, so what I basically did then was I was able to connect the two in Excel and then be able to do a join between the two and find out the ones that, I could delete all the ones that that had values in them already so that they wouldn't update. And then I took the data and then ran the update on that, and it worked.
Yeah.
Perfectly. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's smart.
But yeah,
that
ability is pretty awesome. I feel bad for those of you who do not have that capability, but
us nerds that don't have Enterprise Edition. I heard you. It's fine. No, that's really cool though. That's something I never knew existed as kind of an out of the box piece of functionality. I remember a few years ago, I feel like there was some talk about better partnerships between Microsoft and Salesforce. And I wonder if that was part of it. Just even that kind of native way to pull data out of Salesforce into Office tools. I don't know.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, I like it.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'm a little sad now that I have to look at the enterprise cost of Microsoft 365. I feel like I'm missing out now. FOMO,
Cool kids, man.
Yeah. All right, cool. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to share that I can't take advantage of? Bill, yeah, what do you got? I can't hear you, Bill. There you go.
Yep,
Now I can hear you.
I've said this before. I always come in here like, I'm not going to say anything. Don't say anything. But anyway, so I have a kind of a question about an error that shows up that's really hard to replicate. And all I can show you is a screenshot.
Yeah.
If I may share.
Yep, good.
There we go. Okay. All right, so this is a personnel management tool that we're working on. You can see the kind of the tabs that are there. When you leave it open, as you would for while you're working on it, going back and forth between different screens, this error message will show up for about 10 seconds and then just disappear on a couple of these tabs, the open positions one, the people by principal one as well. Yeah. I wasn't even able to capture this screenshot. One of my teammates did, but this thing shows up and we've been trying to figure out why and how to get rid of it.
Yeah, a couple questions for you. So these tabs, are these objects that you're just displaying the standard object tab, or these like Lightning Web Components, Visual Force tabs? What do you got?
I think these are Lightning Web Components.
Okay, so what I might suggest then is this something that if you opened it up and started clicking through, that generally speaking, within a couple minute period, you would be able to replicate the issue?
Not in a couple of minutes.
Okay, well
like
regardless,
half an hour.
Yeah, regardless, here's what I might suggest. So, and here, I'll share if you don't mind, I'll take over sharing here and I'll show you something. And I'm sure you probably have already gone through this, but just in case.
And I'm the business analyst on this, so I don't have a lot of clicks in it.
Yeah. So here's what I might suggest that you can do. So if you go in the setup and you type in debug, there's actually two different options for debug. If I can type today. You see, this is the kind of standard debug logs. And then there's also this Lightning Component debug mode. So for whatever user that you're logged in as, that you're going to try to replicate the issue for, if you would just select that user and then enable the debug, when you just turn it on, right? Just turn on that debug mode for Lightning Components and then go about your business. The first time that you see that error pop up, what I might suggest is then go into your developer tools, and that'll make sure that any kind of any errors that are thrown by your Lightning Components will get logged to the JavaScript developer console. And then that might at least point you in the right direction for what components throw in the error, any other kind of, console.log that might be in the component that might give you an indication of what's going on. But that's where I would start. See if just once the error pops up, go right into your developer tools, look at your console, and just see if there's anything in there. And again, that's where I would go. Yeah, Yeah. I mean, the reason why it's throwing an error, it could be any number of things, but if I had to guess, when you create Lightning Web Components and a lot of the examples that they have on, through the Lightning Components playground and things like that, you'll notice that there's like a generic error handler that they have when you're making calls, like server side calls, for example, or certain like ways that you refresh data. There might be just that generic, like, if it's valid, keep going. But if it's an error, just do this. And in that do this section, they might just have like a toast that throws an error message. So if you don't modify that, or if you don't put any of the details in there, if every one of your things is just doing a toast that says error, it's kind of hard to figure it out. But by going through JavaScript console, at a minimum, you'll get, if it throws the error, you might be able to get the line number, maybe the component name, and then that might, you might go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will try that.
Yeah. But the key is make sure you enable that Lightning debugging, because if you don't do that, not all, but for the most part, any kind of error handling, console logging, all that kind of stuff, it's just, it won't show up in the developer console until you turn that on for your user.
Okay. Excellent.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, cool. Bill. Yeah.
Hey guys. I had a quick question. If anybody uses or has used leads, it's the first company I've been with that we use leads and we convert them to opportunities and accounts and contacts and so on. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a breadcrumb back from the opportunity back to the original lead. I don't see any reference for that. I'm wondering if anybody knows if there is a reference to that. So for instance, our marketing department says, show me all leads that turned into a closed opportunity. I don't know how to actually get back to the originating lead.
Yeah. So I guess there's a couple different ways that you might think about that, right? You have the, from the opportunity perspective, try to find all the leads that where they came from, or you might just look at it, find me all the leads that are converted that are connected to an opportunity. So in other words, looking at it from the lead side versus looking at it from the opportunity side. I thought when you convert a lead that I thought it puts a link in there so you can actually see what it got converted into.
I don't see one. And even, like there's a true or false that it's converted.
Like is converted.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually say it was converted to this opportunity. And on the opportunity, it doesn't say here's the originating lead.
Okay, let me show you something here. I think I might see what you're looking for. So here, let me start from scratch, right? So usually whenever I'm trying to find something out about Salesforce, the underlying data or the tables, I usually don't go through the UI. Like I won't go through just the lead tab or something like that. What I would do is go into setup and I'll go to developer console. And one of the options that you can do is go to file, open, and then you can select an object. And in this case, I'm going to put in lead. Now, when you open up that lead table, you'll see all the different fields that are part of the lead object. And just by scrolling down here, I see these standard fields, right? And they're standard because they don't have that __C, but it looks like that converted opportunity ID might be what you're looking for.
Yep, that would do it. And so you're on the lead object, right?
This is on the lead object. Yeah. So now that I did this through developer console, let's just take a quick look. I don't know if those things are available. Like if I were in a, you would think you'd be able to add that to like a page layout or a report or something, but let's just see if they even show up through the UI. So converted. Yeah, I don't see them here. So, okay, now I'm going to be careful here. Let me go back to this. So let's go to leads and let's go to one of my existing leads. And I guess I don't have Salesforce Inspector set up here, but I wonder if I just go to edit object on the lead object, and if we go to page layout, let's just see. I'm guessing that we're not going to have converted anything here. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Yeah. And if we were to go back to our reports, let's see if we can even look at it that way. Because what I might suggest is that data is there, it's queryable, and you could probably come up with some kind of flow that might populate like an actual custom field that you would then be able to pull in the reports and do whatever you want with.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what you might have to do because
Yep.
the fields are there. It doesn't seem like they're exposed to the front end. Yeah, I don't think you can access them
Yeah.
through.
There was a report type in there that was leads and converted information.
Let's try that again here. So let's do. Let's go to leads with converted lead information. See, that's why you're not supposed to click so fast because then you'll miss all the key things here. Yeah, so let's look under. Okay, yeah, so it looks like that information then, those relationships are available right there. So you can see the
Perfect.
opportunity details.
Yep.
And if we look over here, yeah, converted date, and then it's got the opportunity information for the conversion, the contact information.
Yeah,
And I
that's great.
thought I would see account here as well, but maybe not. Lead, opportunity, contact.
You might have
Okay.
to create your own custom report type to get that in there.
Yeah, in the last 30 seconds that we have here, let me just see if that's even a thing. Let's go to report types.
There was
Yeah.
an account. It was just under the contact part. It was like one of those contact /
Oh, contact account. There you go. Right there.
Nice.
I
Okay.
couldn't get to my mute button fast enough.
Yeah, I just my attention to detail today leaves a little bit to be desired. So yeah, no, that's good. So maybe Bill, will that help you?
That'll be huge. I think what I'll do is write a flow that'll actually plug in a lookup to each. Right off the lead, you can actually see a lookup to the account, opportunity, and contact. So perfect. I think you just dictated what my Friday afternoon looks like. So
Nice.
thank you.
Unfortunately, no gift basket for you. though.
No gift
Yeah.
basket.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody joining today. We will reconvene next week, Friday afternoon at 12 p.m. And of course, in the meantime, if anybody has any questions that we didn't get to, or if there's anything else that I can do to help, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, send me a connection request, shoot me a message. Always happy to help anytime I can. So thank you all. Hope you all enjoy your weekend. And if anybody's in the path of the hurricane, please be safe. right.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
We'll see you.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye.